Band-in-a-Box 2018 for Mac is here. There are over 50 exciting new features and an amazing collection of new content, including RealTracks, MIDI super tracks, instrumental studies, loops, artist performances, amplitude presets and associated styles, 12-key RealTracks, high-Q, high-quality guitar notation, and new extra styles packs. And we've added 202 new RealTracks, double the 101 that we've often released in the past, including great styles like this crooner shout soloist, similar to our previous crooner big band RealTracks, but playing soloing lines, harmonized by the entire ensemble. And for the first time ever in Band-in-a-Box, background vocals, so you can have vocal oohs or ahs backing you up in your Band-in-a-Box song. Among the 50 new features, we're introducing Video RealTracks, which work like RealTracks but also include videos of the musician's performance. We've also added the long-requested piano roll window. The audio chord wizard has been redesigned and is now built into the audio edit window in Band-in-a-Box with a much easier to use interface and lots of other great improvements. The audio edit dialog has lots of other improvements as well, with an audio harmonies feature added, audio transcription which converts a monophonic audio track to MIDI, and the ability to fix tuning for an out-of-tune audio recording. We've added notation support for time signatures like 12/8, 6/8, and 9/8. The toolbar has been enhanced with skins and more customization. You can open and save ABC notation files, which are very common song files on the internet with chords and melody. The popular song titles browser is enhanced with more songs, now 10,000, as well as filters and the ability to show titles that work with a specific style. Other style picker enhancements include a mixer-like control allowing clear display and style customization. A RealDrums quick list has been added with the option to find similar RealDrums. We'll look at all of these features in more detail later, but first we'll check out some of the amazing new RealTracks and RealDrums added in Band-in-a-Box 2018. Right now we're listening to a Real style that features, for the first time ever, background vocal RealTracks. If you're new to Band-in-a-Box, I'll give you a brief introduction. Band-in-a-Box is an auto-accompaniment program that allows you to type in any chord progression in any key and it generates backing tracks for you. This is an amazing tool for practicing, songwriting, composing, teaching, and music production. And that's what you're hearing right now. Everything you're hearing here, including the background vocals and all the rhythm section instruments, was created simply by typing in these chords, picking this style, setting the tempo, and pressing play. Band-in-a-Box then did everything, and you can enter any chord progression in any key. I'll highlight this by making a couple changes to this chord chart. I'll change the chords in the first 4 bars. I'll change the part marker at the beginning to B, so the vocals will start off singing ahs instead of oohs. And I'll change the key of the whole song. And now you can see that it's playing over our new progression in a completely different key, and it still sounds fabulous. So in this video, we're going to check out all of the new features, but first, let's have a look at some of the amazing new content in Band-in-a-Box, starting with some of the 202 new RealTracks. Americana has been one of the biggest user requests, and we've added 20 Americana RealTracks with drums, acoustic bass, amazing electric guitar from Brent Mason and Colin Linden, vintage electric piano, and sweet fiddle like in this slow 12/8 Americana groove. There are also country singer-songwriter RealTracks with more acoustic guitars by Brent Mason and Colin Linden. We also have new 12-key country guitars, pedal steel, bass, and piano, many of them with accompanying video RealTracks, which we'll check out in more detail later. There are 6 new harmonica styles from Jelly Roll Johnson, which sound fantastic over classic country grooves. And And we have new Canadiana RealTracks, complete with old-time guitar, banjo, and foot stomps. There are 11 new Celtic piano and harp styles, featuring Scottish pianist Dave Milligan, and these fit perfectly with Celtic ensembles from previous years. There are 5 new pop and rock guitars from Brent Mason and Joe Robinson, ranging from funky to folky, with both acoustic rhythm and electric soloist styles. The extremely popular Band-in-a-Box Pop Songwriter Toolkit now has 11 new acoustic songwriter guitar styles from Colin Linden, Quinn Bashand, and Fintan O'Brien. Seven new soulful southern pop drum styles from top session drummer Land Richards have been added. There are 8 new modern dancehall RealTracks. There is a set of spirited klezmer styles featuring world champion accordionist Corey Pesachiro, accompanied by Neil Swainson on acoustic bass, Quinn Bashand on guitar, with matching RealDrums by Terry Clark. Corey also features alongside Neil and Quinn with 14 other new European world RealTracks, including French styles, Italian styles, and Swedish styles. We've added to our extremely popular crooner big band styles with exciting new shout soloist RealTracks. A shout soloist is a big band arrangement where all the instruments are playing harmonized solos. These tracks feature an 11-part arrangement of trumpets, saxophones, and flute that can be used as an ensemble or selected as groups of individual soloists. And that's what we're hearing now. Everything you're hearing, including this horn section, was generated just by typing in these chords. I'll emphasize this again by stopping. I'll change some chords at the beginning, change the key, and press play. And now everything, including the horn section, is playing over our new progression in the new key. We also have other great new jazz styles in the Jazz Potpourri set, including jazz ballad strings, the new modern jazz set includes 4 Neil Swainson acoustic modern jazz basses and 6 corresponding modern jazz drum styles from the legendary Terry Clark, as well as new fusion electric piano RealTracks from Jeff Lorber. We also have new smooth jazz styles like this acoustic bass and brushes drums. And we have new percussion like a mark tree, which plays at the transitions from one section to another in your song. And we have smokin' fast new bebop acoustic bass. We also have 32 new MIDI supertracks, including this Celtic piano. And because it's MIDI, you have complete control, meaning you can change individual notes or pick whatever MIDI patches you like. For example, I'll change this to a vintage electric piano. We also have new instrumental studies, including a set of hot jazz rock electric guitar licks. And we've added Artist Performance Set 8, traditional songs sung by Beatrix Methe. This has 8 well-known folk songs, sung in beautiful harmony by professional singer Beatrix Methe. These songs date back hundreds of years and are popular all over the world. You're sure to recognize more than a few, with origins spanning America, Ireland, Canada, and France. There are also new loops, including percussion effects, and classic beats, which are very basic drum kit loops, which can be used in a similar manner to a metronome for practice purposes. There are also new amplitude presets and associated styles. We also have 6 video RealTracks sets, including Set 1, Pop Ballad Band, Set 2, Country Train Beat Band, Set 3, Jazz Guitar with Oliver Gannon, Set 4, Pop and Country Drums with Shannon Forrest, Set 5, Gypsy Jazz Guitar and Blues Piano with Quinn Bachand and Mike Rojas, and Set 6, Celtic Guitar with Quinn Bachand. We have a separate video with an in-depth tutorial on the video RealTracks, but I'll give you a brief intro to them here. Video RealTracks are like regular RealTracks in that you can type in any chord progression in any key and they will play over your progression. But in addition to the audio, you now see the musicians themselves playing over your progression. To use them, you can pick a style that has video RealTracks available for one or more of the instruments in the style. Enter a song as usual, setting the key, entering chords, and setting the tempo. So now we're hearing the RealTracks as usual, and we can now generate a video of them in the Video Render dialog box. And I've made this composite video of all of the musicians in this style. And you can make videos with a variety of layouts, combining the 3 different elements. Video of the musician, notation, chord chart, or a combination of all 3. Check out the dedicated Video RealTracks video at our PG Music video tutorials area of our website. We'll also put a link to it in the info section of this YouTube video. The new piano roll window enables precise graphic editing of note timing and duration. You can also graphically edit note velocity, controllers, program changes, channel aftertouch, pitch bend, and more. To demonstrate some of the ways you can use the piano roll feature, I'm going to open a demo song in Band in a Box, Tutorials, Tutorial BB 2018, and the file is pianorolldemosong.mgu. So we're in the piano roll window, which you can get to from this piano roll button. We can see the notes displayed as dark gray lines here, with short notes being short lines and long notes being long lines. The bar numbers are shown here along with the chords of the song. A vertical piano keyboard is here showing what notes each line on the grid represent. And you'll notice that all of the lines within the grid are either white or faintly black, which makes it very easy to tell what note it is. If it's a white line, that means it's a white note on the keyboard. If it's a black line, that means it's a black note on the keyboard. I'll play a little bit of this, and you'll hear the notes going by, and you can see the notes light up on the piano roll. And as it gets to the end of the page, it automatically scrolls forward. So you can see it's a very intuitive way to view the notes. Similar to standard notation, but with elements that make it much more clear exactly where the notes are placed and how long they are. And as such, that makes it an extremely useful tool for editing, and I'll show you some of that now. So first I'll show you some very basic editing. This note at bar 5 is a D. I can tell for a few reasons. One is that on the grid it's on a white line in the middle of a group of 2 faint black lines, which on a keyboard is a D. Also, in this area above the keyboard, it displays the location of my cursor both in pitch and in time, so you can see it move around as I move my mouse. But when I rest my mouse on the note in question, it shows D6. So now I want to change the pitch of that note. Before I do that though, I want the vertical zoom to be increased to make it a little easier to see. With these buttons, I can vertically zoom out or zoom in, and you can see now it's much easier to see. So now if I move my mouse over the note but move from left to right, you'll see the cursor changes. When I'm near the left side, it's a double left-right arrow, meaning I can move the position of the note left or right. When I'm near the center, it's a double up-down arrow, meaning I can move the pitch up or down. When I'm near the end, it's a right arrow, meaning it will just affect the right side of the note, which is the duration. I want to change the pitch. So I'll move the mouse to the center, click and hold, and drag it up to an E. And let's listen. Incidentally, you may also notice that it starts playback exactly where I clicked on the timeline instead of going to the beginning of the bar, another great new feature with this window. And so now the note is changed, but I'd like to add another new note. Moving the cursor to the right side of the note, I get the tool to change the duration, so I'll shorten this to only 1 beat long. And now I want to add a new note. To do that, I'll hold down Shift-Command, which changes the cursor to a pencil icon, which means I can add a new note, which I'll do here. And I'll play that. But now I've decided I want it at the and of 2, so I'll move that note by clicking near the left side of the note and dragging it to the right. And I'll lengthen the previous note as well. And you can hear the change when I play it. You can also change the velocity and other similar elements in this lower area, simply by clicking and dragging to draw a line, and all volume levels under that line are redrawn. You can also edit other things like MIDI controllers, including this expression control, which is another way to control volume. You can see that there are already expression values entered in this file, which explains the tail off in the volume of those last notes. If I want to keep that but make it not quite as drastic a drop-off, I can easily redraw it. You can also view the MIDI patch changes here. For example, at the beginning there's a flute intro before it changes to trumpet for the main part of the song. And you can see that flute also used expression to fade in and out. And if I switch to pitch bend, we can see this note at bar 9 does a quick bend up. And we could easily add our own little pitch bend down here at bar 11. If I switch to the guitar track by clicking on the G here, we can now see the notes of the RealTracks guitar. Now, guitar notes are all on different channels, 11 to 16, with each different channel representing a different string. Under the channel area here, I have all, so it's showing me all the notes, but I could select 16, which corresponds to guitar string 6, to only show notes from that string. But then I could press the Ghost button to show a slightly faded or ghost version of all the other notes, making it clear that I'm viewing string 6, but I can also see the other strings. Or I could view the third string while still seeing the others. Check out the dedicated piano roll video at our PG Music video tutorials area of our website. We'll also put a link to it in the info section of this YouTube video. Another exciting new feature is the new redesigned Audio Chord Wizard, which is now built into the audio edit window of Bananabox. Previously, the Audio Chord Wizard was a separate app and not tightly integrated into Bananabox. This app is still available, but the improved built-in Audio Chord Wizard can be accessed from the audio edit window. For the Audio Chord Wizard, we also have a separate dedicated video that goes into greater detail with this exciting feature, but I'll describe it briefly here. The Audio Chord Wizard allows you to open audio file formats such as AIFF, M4A, and more, and will create a tempo map that allows the audio file to play in sync with the bars in Bananabox. And it also actually figures out the chords to the song as well. This makes it an amazing tool for learning songs. For example, I'll open this song file, which incidentally is included in the tutorials folder within your main Bananabox folder. I'll put the audio edit window into Audio Chord Wizard mode. I'll play the song, and I'll use the L key to tap in the bar lines, which get entered as these vertical lines. I'll let it auto-mark the rest of the bars, and I'll click Analyze to have Bananabox figure out the chords. And now it's playing in sync in Bananabox, and it's displaying the chords. Check out the dedicated Audio Chord Wizard video at our PG Music video tutorials area of our website. We'll also put a link to it in the info section of this YouTube video. In addition to the Audio Chord Wizard, there are also other great improvements to the audio edit window, including the ability to transcribe and harmonize the audio. This window now has a nicer looking GUI with a dedicated settings button and a marker mode button. We've seen the Audio Chord Wizard marker mode, but there's also a User Tracks marker mode. I've got a song here that's using some of our new Americana 12/8 RealTracks. And I've got a fiddle recorded on the audio track, so we can see the waveform for that fiddle here in the audio edit window. Let's play a little bit of it. So it's a simple monophonic fiddle line. Now first I want to show you the transcribe feature, which can transcribe a monophonic audio part like this fiddle. One new feature is that editing tasks in this window will apply to the entire track if nothing is selected. In previous versions you had to select all before any processing would work. So to transcribe this part, I'll simply go to Edit, Transcribe. We can choose the soloist or melody track, and I'll pick Melody. And we can see on the melody track it's done a good job of automatically transcribing the fiddle. And now I'll show you the Harmonize feature. For the transcription I did the whole track, but for this though I just want to process this short phrase in bar 1. I'll select Harmonize. There are several modes you can choose from. The Chords mode will harmonize the audio based on the chords in your song. If you select this, you can choose a type of harmony from the Harmony Type option. You can choose either the Intelligent mode, which allows you to select the number of voices, or one of the Band-in-a-Box harmony presets. The Melody Track mode will add voices, up to 4, to the audio, based on melodies in the melody track. The Soloist Track mode is the same, but will look to the soloist track. The Fixed Tuning mode will analyze the audio track and correct out-of-tune notes in the selected region according to the key of your song. For me right now, I'd like to use a Band-in-a-Box harmony preset, and I'll pick number 40, Generic 2-Part Thirds. And now we've turned that fiddle into a nice 2-part fiddle section. There have been many new features and enhancements made to the Style Picker. To start with, we've made improvements to the Song Titles browser. The Song Titles browser is a feature that lets you pick the name of a popular song, and it will then filter the style list to show styles in similar genres with similar feels and tempo ranges. Note that it's not providing you with that song, it's just giving you a list of styles that you can then use in your own song, but it will have a similar feel to the song you picked. Firstly, we've added 2,000 new song titles to the Song Titles browser, so there are now over 10,000 titles. And you can filter this list by genres, time signature, feel, tempo, and decade. For example, I could pick a genre or subgenre, and I'll pick bluegrass, and I'll also add 3/4 waltz, which filters the list to show all of the bluegrass waltz songs in the list. I'll pick I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, and I could even listen to that song itself by clicking on YouTube or Spotify. But when I select this, the Style Picker will be filtered now not only by bluegrass and 3/4 waltz, but also by the other parameters in the song itself. For example, this song has a tempo of 120 and is swing eighths, so when I press Find Matching Styles, it's now put all of those criteria in this filter. And if I click on the first style, here's a style that's very similar to the feel and tempo of I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. Again, it's not playing the chords from that song, that's definitely not the point, but it is playing a groove and tempo very similar to that song. Another great new feature with the Song Titles browser is that it can work in reverse order too. If I've already picked a style but I'm curious about what songs already exist that have a similar genre, feel, and tempo, if that style is selected, then when I go to the Titles dialog, I can just click on the name here to automatically set the filters, and I can see there are 11 songs listed here that have a very similar feel. In the Style Picker itself, the main screen has been cleaned up, partly by moving lesser used buttons to the Action button. Mixer-like control allows style customization within the Style Picker. This shows what tracks are used in the highlighted style in the list, and color codes them according to the track types: yellow for MIDI, green for RealTracks, and blue for MIDI SuperTracks. There is also a menu button on each track, which allows you to change the instrument, disable or enable the track, or perform other track actions. So for example, if I'm in the style picker demoing this mist style, and I think it's perfect but could use a pedal steel, that's easy to add. And now that's added, but the instrument has an asterisk to indicate that it's not part of the style. So if I selected this and play it, we have the style we were sampling in the style picker playing our song, and with that pedal steel added. And if we now decide we really like this combo and might want to use it on other songs, we can save this combination of instruments as a unique style by pressing this button. I'll save it as Mist PS to indicate this one has a pedal steel added. So now if I make a new song with that style, it's now playing our custom combo. A long requested feature has now been added. Added time signatures. Notation now supports 12/8, 9/8, and 6/8 time signatures. Previous versions of Band in a Box only supported 3/4 or 4/4 notation, and styles that were actually 12/8 and 6/8 were shoehorned into 4/4, and 9/8 was shoehorned into 3/4. Now you can select 12/8, 9/8, or 6/8 by pressing the time signature button in the notation window and selecting one of the time signatures from the list. For example, I've got a song loaded from Artist Performance Set 3, Celtic Fiddle Tunes. The song is called Butterfly. This is a Celtic slip jig, which means it's in 9/8 time, 3 groups of 3/8 notes. But up until now, it was displayed in Band in a Box like this, as 3/4, with the beat resolution set to triplets. So there were still 9 triplet eighths in a bar, so similar to 9/8, but not technically correct. Well, I'll just change that to 9/8, and you can see it's now correctly showing a quarter and an eighth rather than 2/8 here, and the triplets are now showing correctly as 3/8. And of course the time signature itself is correct. Other notation improvements include the ability to enter section numbers. Previously you could enter letters only, but now you can also enter numbers. The vertical position of a dot on a dotted rest has been adjusted. A dot used to be drawn on the staff line, but it is now drawn between staff lines. When loading a music XML file, if more than 20% of notes are triplet notes, then the overall beat resolution will be automatically set to 3 in the notation window. Improved algorithms are now used for drawing slurs. A slur now just looks better, especially for notes that are very close to each other. And there have been improvements to both the guitar window and the piano window, making them easier to use in conjunction with entering notation in the notation window. And there are improvements to the MIDI and karaoke file importing, with lyrics now being imported, and the ability exists to simply use the melody track as a standalone MIDI player. So for example, this MIDI file I'm importing has lyrics for Amazing Grace, so when I import it, the lyrics display here. And if I just want to use Band in a Box as a quick and easy MIDI player, there's this new Open Entire Karaoke or MIDI file to melody track. So I'll pick this violet.mid file that's in the tutorials folder, and I can just start playing, with all the different MIDI patches playing on the melody track with all the other tracks disabled. The track says that it's vibes because that's what it would be if it were a single channel melody track, but because we use this feature, it's set the track to multi-channel, taking the correct instrument patches from the MIDI file itself. Other improvements include enhanced display option with more customizable color items and skin support for the toolbar. For example, the default toolbar is a muted gray, but you can set it to have brighter colored buttons. The floating mixer window now has opacity controls. You can set it to be slightly transparent so you can see the chords underneath. Left-click on them to change the opacity by a significant amount, or right-click on them to change it by a small amount. Flash messages are also now brighter for clarity. They also have a close button, which is useful for closing green flash messages without performing the action. Also, up to 4 messages can be on the screen at once, whereas previously only 2 messages could be shown. We've added support for opening and saving ABC notation. ABC notation is the simple text-based notation system used by musicians worldwide to store chords, melody, and lyrics of songs. Now you can open and save songs in ABC notation format. For example, here is an ABC file that I've opened in a text editor. There are different simple codes for the different elements of the song. For example, this is called Kesh Jig, the key is G, etc. For the main body of the song, bar 1 here has a G chord because it's in quotes, and the melody is G, then triplets G, A, B, then the chord changes to D, etc., etc. Well, I can open this file in Band-in-a-Box, and we can see the chords of the first bar are indeed G and D, and the melody, like I pointed out when looking at the text, is G and then triplets G, A, B. And of course, you can also save to the ABC format as well. You can now demo individual variations of the RealDrums at the tempo closest to your current song by double-clicking on them. The Set column shows Vid if the video RealDrums is installed. VNA means that a video is available but not installed. There is now a simpler dialog for choosing RealDrums called the RealDrums Quick List, an alternative to the RealDrums Picker. It displays all available RealDrums in a simple list, which can be easily filtered by genre, time signature, feel, and more. The list can be set to show only RealDrums that are compatible with the current style of the song. For example, the current style here is Big Rigs, a country train beat style. So if I click there, it sets the filters to other drum styles that will work, namely country drums, 4/4, even 16ths, usable at 90 beats per minute. And if I wanted to filter further, I could type in tambo, and now I see this tambourine train RealDrum style. You can also set the highlighted RealDrum style as a prototype to find alternates to that RealDrums. For example, if I've got Jazz Funk Move-In selected, I can click here to set that as the filter template. And all these styles would work well substituting for that. We hope you enjoy all of the exciting new features and content in Band-in-a-Box 2018 for Mac. Thanks for watching and have fun.